from each happily ever after, every wish upon a star. Let's break down the movies that shaped who we are, from memory lane to now and everything in between. The most famous of films to the ones we've never seen. Decade by decade, all the times we laughed and cried, and with a little pixie dust, they will all take flight, reliving the feelings, and we're trying our very best. And if they mean the same to you, please be our guest. So hop aboard, we would love to have you as we hang with a certain mouth, the whole gang too. If you love nostalgia stuff, we hope this does the trick. Thanks for joining us as we deep dive the magic.
Hi, and welcome to the Deep Diving the Magic podcast. I'm KJ.
And I'm Jeffrey, and we are back today with the 124th Disney feature-length film from the year 1976. We have made it to the year 1976. From February of that year, 1976, it is a film called No Deposit, No Return. No Deposit, No Return, besides being our 124th film, and besides being the first film of the year 1976, it was inspired by the O. Henry short stories, The Ransom of Red Chief, and A Retrieved Reformation. It is the return of some familiar faces. It is the return of the two main characters in this film, which I'm sure you're going to talk about, were some children that were into previous films that we watched, including Escape to Witch Mountain, and of course the return of our dear friend Don Knotts. This film also, in his Disney first film, features the father from The Christmas Story, whose name I did not write down. But before you... Nope, that's all I got. So I'm going to turn it over to you for a synopsis or opening thoughts about the first film of the year 1976.
During school break, two kids are to stay with their rich grandpa, but they would rather join their mother overseas. So, in need for plane ticket cash, they convince two petty criminals to fake kidnap them for a ransom they could all share.
I mean, that's the entire synopsis right there, all in a nutshell right there. But any opening thoughts about the first film, 1976?
I don't know. Initially, I looked at the title and I don't know. Didn't think I was going to be impressed. I didn't have high hopes. And then, like you said, we do have some famous faces here. And
Yeah, Don Knotts is good.
yeah, so I was like, well, maybe it won't be as bad as I think.
I'll tell you this is it's not on streaming, but we were able to locate it on VHS tape, so we watched it like it was the quality of the 70s for sure. It was a grainy watch on our VHS player that, in case you were wondering, still works. But do you want to save your trivia till the end, or do you want to go ahead
You can
and
go ahead.
go ahead?
All right, so this was first of two movies pairing Don Knotts and Darren McGavin.
Darren McGavin is the dad from his Christmas Story.
Yes. The pair later co-starred in Hot Lead and Cold Feet in 1978, which was another Walt Disney Pictures production. And then they both later passed away within a few hours of each other on Saturday, February 25th of 2006.
30 years after this film.
So he was buried close to the other guy that he co-starred with. And in this one, they died within a few hours of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So he is like, Don Knotts is like super close to his
co-stars. Can I give you a hot take?
Sure.
This film of Darren McGavin is way better than The Christmas Story. But okay, back to you.
Nah. Ugh. I love The Christmas Story.
Yeah.
It's my favorite Christmas movie.
Good for you. Keep going.
Okay. So anyway, you had already mentioned who it was loosely based on the stories. And then a picture of Herbie from The Love Bug, 1968, which we already discussed. Doing a wheelie is on the wall in Bert and Duke's living room, among other racing pictures.
Yeah.
And then Don Knotts, who played Bert, later co-starred with Dean Jones as Herbie's mechanic, Wheelie Applegate in Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo in 1977. So we have that to look forward to. And then Charles Morton Smith, who played Longnecker, later portrayed DJ in Herbie Goes Bananas in 1980.
Also have that to look forward to.
Oh. And that's really all I've got for trivia. Did you have any other opening thoughts or statements?
No. Trivia that I have, it's the first film, 1976,
Okay.
and it's the first film of our new format of only once a week. So,
Oh yeah, sorry. Welcome.
but hey, are you ready to dive right in?
Maybe in a year and a half we might bump it back up. I don't know.
I mean, we'll see.
Anyway. All right. So the film opens up with a cute clip of a cartoon skunk and a bag.
Stuck in a bag, stuck in a bag.
Yeah, the skunk is then joined by a drawing of cartoon kids, a boy and a girl, as the opening credits continue to roll. We see the kids on an island fishing, and a shark makes its way on screen, which I thought was humorous because we literally just went and watched the 50th anniversary of Jaws in theaters.
We did. There was no skunks in Jaws, though.
No, there was no skunks and Jaws, but the shark did remind me of Bruce. Anyway, um, then the kids get into a submarine with the skunk, and the continued on credits roll on. And then we start out at the kids' school. The kids are Tracy and Jay, their siblings, and the kids are waiting to be picked up by their mother for a break from school, which we find out shortly thereafter opening is going to be Easter break. So we find out that they're upset as their mother, who is named Carolyn, once again hasn't picked up the kids from school. We then find out that the mother is stuck in Hong Kong for work when they get picked up by one of their mother's workers. I don't really know, assistant maybe. I don't know what she was. It didn't really sound like it was the nanny, but
No, so the brother's up the flagpole trying to find
yes,
trying to find the skunk,
yes,
whose name is Duster.
yes. So they're talking to a teacher. The teacher is um, talking to the daughter Tracy about, oh, so your mom's not here yet. Oh, yes, but she'll be. Um, well, I really hope so. And then she kind of talks about how her mother's always working and busy working because she has a very important job.
Newspaper.
Magazine, I thought.
Oh, magazine. Yeah.
And then she asks where the little girl's brother is, and she's like, "Oh, he is up there." And she's like, "Up there where?" And she's like, "Half mast." So he is literally halfway up the flagpole looking for, like you mentioned, the skunk Duster, which is a recurring theme. The skunk just disappears off
It's his pet.
all the time. Um, so anyway, these kids get picked up by the assistant like lady that works for their mother, who ends up breaking the news to them that their mother's busy. She's overseas in Hong Kong. She got delayed for work, and she has arranged for them to go to the airport with plane tickets.
'Cause that lady's also going somewhere on vacation.
Yeah, and she mentioned like the Bahamas or
Yeah.
something like that, and they're like, "Oh, that sounds fun." And she's like, "Oh yeah, and you guys have 2 tickets to go to LA." And they're
Be
like,
their rich grandfather.
"Oh no, not to stay with grandfather again." So apparently they don't really like to stay with their grandfather. And it's kind of humorous because back and forth, we go from clips of them and then clips of the grandfather, and the grandfather doesn't really enjoy them being there with him.
True.
Um, yeah,
Because they break everything.
true. So the 2 kids are on their way to the airport. They get dropped off. They get on the plane. Um, And then the grandfather's name is Osborne, J.W. Osborne, and he is a billionaire who lives in Los Angeles. Um, he's had several bad experiences with these kids, but he just is not looking forward to this either. So it's kind of humorous that this is all going down. So, talking together on the plane, Tracy asked Jay what he would suppose if they didn't end up going to their grandfather's. And then in the next scene, we see we're in a car and we see who we learn is Duke and Bert, um, who are on their way to rob a safe
At the airport.
at the airport. Back in the plane, the kids are mapping out their way to Hong Kong, but realize that they lack the funds for a plane ticket.
What about credit cards? Everybody uses credit cards. That's what they say.
You have to have money in the bank because they also talked about checks.
Yeah.
I was just like,
But they said everybody uses credit cards.
yeah, this gets me. This gets me. It gets better. All right. So meanwhile, Duke and Bert are at the safe at the airport, and they're preparing to break into it.
Because Duke is like a well-known safe cracker.
Yes. Meanwhile, back on the plane, we find out that during the plane trip, Jay realizes he has misplaced his skunk duster. Once again, the skunk has disappeared on him.
On the airport.
However, the skunk is found in the airport with people running around yelling skunk. During this panic, Osborne's loyal butler, Mr. Jameson,
He keeps getting bonuses.
fails to find the kids at the airport because of all this panic going on. But the kids end up escaping to a taxi cab. So Duke and Bert open the safe in the next scene, and Bert accidentally locks it. They're out of time, so they have to leave the airport, only to discover that the vehicle, which was a Volkswagen Beetle, has been towed because they parked in a no parking spot at the airport. So they are just running around trying to figure out how to get out of there, and they jump into a taxi cab. As luck would have it, the kids also found that taxi cab at the same time. So the four of them are in the back of the taxi cab yelling, "Go." However, the butler comes back to the car, and he informs the grandfather that they've lost the children, but the grandfather tells him actually, no, they haven't, because he spotted them when they came out of the airport, and he has the driver follow the taxi cab that the kids are in. So the taxi cab ends up going to Duke and Bert's apartment, and Duke is trying to get rid of the kids, but Tracy gets out, and Bert is supposed to go pay the taxi cab driver so he'll go away, but he has no money. He has no cash because he didn't expect for them to not have a getaway car. Just what he tells Duke. And then all of a sudden we see that Tracy and Jay have gotten out of the car as well, and Tracy, being the billionaire's granddaughter, pays the taxi cab. So he just drives away. So then they're stuck with the kids. He's trying to get rid of the kids, but Tracy starts coughing and saying how, like, oh, she can't sleep outside, her asthma is just so bad, and it's worse when she has to stay outside at night.
She has to like stuff the newspapers in her clothes to stay warm.
Yeah. So she really, really acts it up. As Jay's like, asthma? And she's like, yeah, my asthma. So anyway, at that point, Duke's like, you know what? You can spend the night. One night.
One night.
So anyway, the kids have no idea that their grandfather actually knows where they are and has watched them go into this apartment. And he ends up discussing this with the butler, and they don't seem to be in any immediate danger. And if they come home to his house, it could be a disaster. So he's just going to leave them where they are. What did you think about that?
He's an awful person. What was it? The gnome mobile where the grandfather was like the hero? This dude's like not the hero. And that dude was rich too, from California. So, no.
Okay. Well, anyway, I thought this was quite entertaining. And I didn't think he was a horrible person for doing this.
Yo, they're
Only,
children.
yes,
You don't know
but,
no immediate danger from the outside. You don't know what's going on the inside. You
but,
remember when we watched? Hold on, don't butt me. Do you remember when we watched? Oh man, what did we watch?
I don't know, you can't even think of it, so can I finish my sentence?
No, because this is really good. What did we watch recently? Where? Oh, it was Napoleon and Samantha, where they and I love that movie, where they go and then the guy thinks that oh, they're fine. I'm just gonna have this dude babysit them, and then he had them like tied up. Like the grandpa doesn't know that.
True. But at the same time, I didn't find it to be that terrible of a person because the kids are trying to run away. And I felt like, in a way, he's teaching them a lesson.
Yeah, it's some lesson, teach.
So
Whatever.
anyway, um, he's gonna leave them where they are. And the next morning, uh, she ends up making breakfast for them. And Duke's like, this is not gonna change anything. I said one night. You can't stay here longer than one night. Um, but she has this plan that they're gonna get money to get the tickets to go to Hong Kong because they're gonna be fake kidnapped by Duke and Bert.
I think you missed.
I probably did miss something. Anyway,
So can I jump in because it's important?
we'll quickly jump in.
The real gangster comes.
That's the part I was about to get to.
Oh, well, in my notes, the Phantom notes afterwards, but whatever, go.
Okay. Well, yes, I don't know. Anyway. So, meanwhile, Duke and Bert receive this visit from this guy named Big Joe, and he is the local gangster that we find out they owe money to. So, unfortunately for them, the amount that they have owed him is now increased considerably since they spoke last.
Do you know why?
Interest.
Clickety click, clickety click. He keeps going clickety click, and every single time he goes clickety click, it's $2,000 more. So they currently owe $9,000 in 72 hours because of clickety click. The computer.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes.
they owe the money to the computer.
Anyway, as Jeffrey said, they have 72 hours to pay this back.
Clickety click.
So after this, Tracy has cooked them breakfast. And she informs Duke and Bert that she has mailed their grandfather a fake ransom note demanding $100,000 by 4 p.m. that same day.
That'd be dropped off under a tree or something.
Yeah. Specifically, a location it was supposed to be left. However, they don't get any money because the grandfather knows the kids are at this apartment and knows it's a scam and knows that they haven't been kidnapped. So he's not falling for this. So hijinks ensues, and Duster the skunk, once again, is on the run. He runs around the outside of the apartment building on the ledge.
Kind of like in the Herbie movie.
Yep, and eventually Jay and Duster end up on the roof of the apartment building, and then Bert is on their trail. Duster then climbs out onto the end of a flagpole that's attached to the roof, but Bert refuses to let Jay go out onto the flagpole after him because obviously that's too dangerous. But somehow he ends up like falling and he's hanging there on the middle of the thing. There is a spectacle going on outside because everybody's been watching this. They're on the news at this point. They've got the fire department with the tarp in case he has to fall. Yeah, I don't know. Quite entertaining. But so while he's holding on to the Bert's holding onto the flagpole, Duster ends up climbing his way back over to the building. However, in perfect timing, they end up sliding off the roof and um, land on a construction beam that's being lifted by a crane. Then we see Bert, Jay, and Duster in some kind of like jungle gym-like scene on a construction site with steel beams everywhere. Any thoughts?
Nope.
No thoughts?
No, because at first I thought it was like a window cleaning thing, but it's not. So
You didn't think any of that was funny?
I didn't think much of this movie was funny, but keep going.
Really? Okay, anyway. All right, so then after everybody's all safe and sound, Duke and Bert go off to a place where Tracy has told their grandfather in the letter to leave the ransom, but well, the ransom's not there.
Can I read what the note said?
Sure.
So there's a note in this thing instead of the money, and the grandfather says, "Oh, as much as we would love to, do we have some difficulty raising the money? They need a little bit more time. How about until after Easter vacation?"
Right, that was very funny.
So clearly the kids are like, "Oh, he's on to us." So then I was talking about
I know he was on to him.
until after Easter vacation.
We're starting to pick up on that.
Okay.
Anyway, so Tracy doesn't give up when they
Yeah,
inform
much
her
much
about
to
this
the
letter.
chagrin.
And makes a bogus call to the police, insinuating a kidnapping. And then she tells Duke, after him and Bert run in there, like, oh my God, what have you done? That he needs to write that second ransom note. Because now that she's informed the police of their fake kidnapping, the grandfather's not going to be able to ignore them now. So,
They really want to go to Hong Kong.
yeah. And then, ironically, Big Joe shows back up at the apartment and tells Duke and Bert that they have 48 hours left to get the
Clickety
money.
click.
And now they are up to $11,000.
Because they owe the computer. Clickety click.
Mhm.
$11,000.
All right. So after Big Joe leaves, Duke and Bert uh, are deciding, I guess, that in desperate times, desperate measures, they're going to go along with these kids' plans. And Duke tells Bert that they're going to write the second ransom note. So I did not say that this was a good idea, but they go through with this.
Can I add something that because this is a good spot. There's this detective policeman.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Well, there's a backstory. But okay, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt your notes, but there's a detective that's been like on to Duke forever and ever and ever. His life duty is to catch this Duke guy, this infamous uh safe cracker. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So because she's called the police, now we find out that this guy named Sergeant Turner is going to be put on the case. However, this takes him off of his previous case, which was to catch the safecrackers, which are Duke and Bert, which he's been working on this for a long time, and he has not been able to catch this guy. And this guy has not been lucky enough to catch anything when he's cracked these safes. But at one point, he's going to eventually get lucky. And they're going to be in trouble when he does. So this guy is like really like invested in this case. But now he's been taken off this case and he's going to be put on the case of finding these kids who have been kidnapped. So anyway, Sergeant Turner has entered and he is just upset about being taken off the case. But you know what? Duty is duty, so he gets put on it.
Well,
So,
it's a billionaire's grandkids.
yeah.
So it's important.
So Duke leaves to put the second ransom note in the mail, which kills me because the entire time all I could think about was if this was modern day, you would be so much in trouble, sir. Your fingerprints are all over that. You just lick the envelope. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing, buddy? But anyway, did you catch on to any of that? Or did that bother you at all?
I mean, licking an envelope period kind of bothers me because it killed
Yeah,
that
I
lady
do.
in
But
Seinfeld.
do you know how much DNA homeboy left on that letter. Anyway, so
It killed George Costanza's fiance in Seinfeld.
okay, whatever. Anyway, um, so he goes to leave and put this second letter in the mail. While he's gone, Jay decides to show Bert judo. Hijinks ensue. It's quite hilarious. Back at the apartment, Duke finds out that Bert let the kids leave the apartment, and an officer shows up at the apartment telling them that he has the kids at the station and asks them to come with him. So when they get to the station, they find out the police just wanted Duke and Bert to pay the fee for the pet license.
They are very stressed. They think that they've got caught.
So while at the station, the foursome run into Sergeant Turner, who has no idea how close to the actual case he is. While he is backtracking into the safe crackers case he was taken off of. So
Yeah, the criminals are stressed because they're like,
yeah, he is legit so close to cracking both cases and just isn't paying attention.
and hijinks ensues.
Yes. So humorously throughout this film and this fiasco and the debacle that the children have been causing, we find out that Duke and Bert keep lowering the ransom amount because they kind of just want rid of these kids. But
They want to also pay off their.
They also need the money to pay off, but that's fine. They'll just pay the guy off and be done. They don't really care about making too much money. They just want rid of the kids and to pay off their debt.
Well, it's because they like own a garage that's going to make them money, but the garage isn't making any money because of the construction.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, Tracy is back in the kitchen cooking again, talking with Duke. She tells him that she had learned some of these recipes from the maids that she's had in the past, and he mentions to her, it sounds like you've spent a lot of time with maids, and she was like, yeah. Well, I've had to because my mom is the head of a magazine and she is busy with work. It's very important.
Yep. So. All these kids want to do is get to Hong Kong.
They just want to spend time with their mom, and their mom is just obviously completely oblivious to them.
Yeah.
Anyway, and you are able to see that Duke has already picked up on this, and
I mean, to be fair,
you can tell it irritates him, but I mean, at the same time,
in a handful of years when he is in the Christmas story, he's not a good parent himself either. But go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, so the investigating officers again are in the next scene visiting the grandfather and get one of the ransom notes. The second investigating officer has nailed the case. But the lead investigator tells him a kidnapper is a kidnapper and a safecracker is a safecracker. Because the second investigator mentions how the kids go missing at the exact same time that the safe was being robbed.
Separate.
But no. Anyway, now we go to the next scene, and Big Joe once again has now raised his debt to
clickety click, $13,000.
Meanwhile, Jay has turned the apartment into the Home Alone house with traps.
That's what I wrote too. The apartment is protected like the Home Alone house.
There you go. Carolyn, the mother, finally, hearing of the kids being gone, comes back, demanding an explanation as to how the children have gone missing.
Her father's having he's playing darts, dude. He's like living it because he's like, oh, these kids aren't in danger. They're not here bugging me. I'm just gonna be rich. And he opens his safe like an idiot.
The grandfather fails to mention to his daughter that her kids are not in danger. And that he's basically been watching them this whole time. They've not been bothering him, but he knows they're fine. But he is more...
He doesn't know. Okay, we've watched Napoleon and Samantha.
He is more concerned about ruining this budding relationship with his daughter. What kind of budding relationship are you concerned about, her?
I didn't pick up on that, actually. So
he actually said
yeah,
budding.
I didn't.
Because I have it in quotes in my notes. That's what he told me.
Maybe his daughter's never there either.
I don't know.
Clickety
Anyway.
click.
So then in the next scene, we see the investigators in the car waiting for the kidnappers to show up. Um, and the lead is wearing a mask that's supposed to look like the grandfather, but actually looks closer to Michael Myers from Halloween instead.
Oh, he puts his nose through it.
Yeah, he's like, Does this
His
look like?
his nose was
He's
too
like, Oh,
big,
yeah, perfect.
but
It
it
looks
works
perfect.
because the criminals think it's the grandfather. But
Because they're
but
far away.
but the he like his nose was too big, so he puts his nose through the mask.
Yeah.
And
So time's running out, and Duke and Bert go to meet. And after several negotiations for this ransom, it's considerably lower than it was when they started. They have arranged this meeting at the docks to exchange the money for the kids.
they wear a clown and big bad wolf
Yeah.
masks.
However, the police only have ideas about catching the kidnappers, and they have no idea that the grandfather knows the children's location. And the grandfather shows up with his daughter along in the car side because, she's demanding that they figure out where the kids are, make sure the kids are safe. However, that makes two grandfathers on the scene.
One's got a bigger nose than the other.
Yeah. During this whole fiasco, Duke yells it's a trap and jumps up into the car, and him and Bert drive off. And Carolyn, the mom, gets into their car, into the back of the car. Um,
Because actually, that's important. They have a convertible. The police car is not a convertible. And that starts this wild,
chase.
wild car chase. Probably the wildest car chase that we've done so far.
Yeah. So she's in the back of their car and is basically like, "Why would you do this?" Da da da. Da. And the guy Duke takes his mask off and just starts explaining things. He's like, "The kids aren't in any danger. Like, this is basically their idea." Um, and basically starts reprimanding her for her child rearing. And well, basically lack of thereof, I guess. And I don't know. It's just like you said, the wildest car chase. We ended up having like a scene that is like Mario Kart-esque with bananas.
Well, before that, so they go under something that's too low, so it rips off the entire top
Oh
of the
yeah.
police car. So,
So
so now they both have.
ends up just I don't know how it's even going.
But the best part,
The parts of it just keep falling off.
but the best part is when the top gets skinned off of this thing. The dude has a top hat on, and the top of his top hat gets skinned off too. It's just like kind of hanging off. But then like they go underneath it like a because they're on the dock, so like they had a bunch of fish dumped in their car. They had a bunch of bananas dumped in their car.
Yeah.
Um, they there's a crane bucket in the water. Like it's just a mess.
Yeah.
There's a big magnet. I don't know if that's in your notes too. Like so like they're like I don't know what it is. It's if it's like somewhere like a junkyard where they big magnet
Yeah,
the vehicles.
I think it was in a junkyard.
So like they get stuck on this big
Yeah,
magnet
lots
and
of weird hijinks. And like I said, the best part of it for me was when the car slipped on bananas.
yep. So like the car, I wrote the cop car has definitely seen better days because everything is falling apart, and of course, because the Disney movie, the cop car does end up in the water.
Okay, because I said yet again another Disney movie where the police vehicle ends up in the water.
Yep. So then, so the yeah, it's just hijinks. But go ahead, back to you for the home stretch here.
So Tracy and Jay,
Make it to the grandparents' house somehow.
yeah, they basically avert Big Joe because he comes back to the apartment and he's trying to kidnap them. And they're writing another letter to the grandfather. But thanks to the Home Alone house that Jay set up, they're able to get away from Big Joe.
They get like one of those traps that like pulls them up by their feet. And
Yeah.
they're like hanging there like
So
they're
he gets
meat.
like flour to the face, then he gets pulled up on a thing, then his partner gets pulled up on a thing. They're hanging there, and the kids leave. So they end up back at the grandfather's house, and they have gave him Big Joe the slip here. And once they get into the house, they're looking into their grandfather's safe because, like Jeff said earlier, he opened it and left it open.
And they're just trying to get money to go to Hong Kong.
Yeah, and they think they hear their grandfather nearby, so they jump into the safe Unfortunately, it was not him, and the butler shut the kids in. However, shortly thereafter, Duke, Bert, and Carolyn trace the children back to the house and find Jameson, the butler, claims the kids are not there. And then the mother, Carolyn, is convinced that they are in the house. And she's like, no, like we basically followed them here, which I was like, that makes no sense. But whatever. So she's convinced they're at the house. The dog, Sir Winston, starts barking. And we find out that the skunk is in the house. So then she's
Spray the dog.
yeah, so then she is convinced that they're in the house because Duster's there.
Which means that Duster's not a new pet. Which means that the mother knew he had a pet skunk. The school allowed him to have a pet skunk. I thought it was just like something new. And this mother hasn't been in the picture for like
No.
months or longer.
Usually when you have a pet skunk, they take the ability for them to spray whatever that
Well,
is
that didn't happen.
away. But they didn't in this one, so I don't know. Anyway, thanks to Duster, the mother's like, no, definitely the kids are
He
in the
dusts the dog.
Yeah. So, they followed Duster and Duke asked, well, what's behind this wall? And at this point, the sergeant is there also. And then we find out that nobody there knows the combination to the safe. And obviously, this is in the day before cell phones, so it's not like they can call the grandfather, which meanwhile, the grandfather in another scene has also entered this apartment to go get the kids, and home alone ensues again, and the grandfather is left hanging.
By his feet, yeah.
So nobody's able to get a hold of this grandfather, and we find out that it's going to be up to Duke and his safe cracking skills to open this safe. However, he's got all this pressure because he's going to end up doing it in front of this guy that's been trying to capture him this whole time. He's been trying to catch him.
Conveniently has a bag.
Actually catch him in the act.
He has conveniently the bag full of all the tools he needs.
Yeah. So
or whatever.
Anyway, he is able to finally, in a very dramatic, drawn out scene, because these kids are about to run out of air.
Pressure's on.
He's able to get the safe open. He gets it open, and both of the kids run into his arms and Bert's arms because they're so glad that they have found him. Then they're just surprised that their mom's there because they had no idea that she would be there.
So the time they were just trying to find her.
Yeah. But then we find out that because of everything and how things are going, Sergeant Turner talks to Duke after, and he was like, yeah, I think that guy's retired. And Duke was like,
retired permanent.
Yeah, Duke's like, yeah, he's retired permanently, I hear. So that's, I guess, the sergeant's way of telling him, I know it's you, but what you just did proves that you're not a bad person, so I'm gonna give you a get out of jail free card. Literally. And then we find out that the grandfather pays off Duke and Bert's debt, and then he reconciles with his grandchildren.
He also gives them enough money to open that garage to make the money the right way.
So he is loaning them the money to open up their own garage, and Duke wants to make sure that this is like a legit loan. And the film ends with a hint of romance between Duke and Carolyn.
Well, it all ends with them playing with the kids, like doing karate. That's all you're gonna say? Go ahead.
And the grandfather spending time with his grandchildren, and we start to see where they get their mischief from.
Oh yeah, like he breaks his own chandelier and stuff.
Yeah. And then
still an awful person.
Him and Jay go out there to do judo, and they think that the grandfather is probably hurt, and they all run out there, and it's actually Jay that's in the thing.
Yeah.
And we find out that when the grandfather was in the military, he was a judo champion.
He's also a not great grandfather champion, but
okay. Anyway, I thought it was a great movie. I don't know. It was funny.
That's fine.
I didn't think I was gonna like it, but I did. So Anyway, IMDb gives this a 6.3 out of 10.
Okay.
I give it an 8 out of 10.
It's ambitious. Okay. That's fine. I just thought it was a film, but that's okay. Happy you liked it. It was long. It was like
It was
it was
long.
like 2 hours long.
But
Stuck
it's humorous.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy we watched it. We're a completist podcast.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
However, I don't think that it's going to safe crack its way onto my list, only for the fact that Aristocats is down there at number 10, and I
Chopping block.
don't think it can outdo that one. So, that being said, my list upon a star is 101 Dalmatians, The Parent Trap, Sleeping Beauty, Dumbo, The Apple Dumpling Game. Dawn Knot still made it onto my list. The Strongest Man in the World. That was a really good movie. Napoleon and Samantha. Snowball Express. Another good. The Jungle Book and The Aristocats.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm making mine, whatever. It was fine. It was funny. But it just was just other film. To me, it was long. A lot of bad parenting in this film. But my number one is still 101 Dalmatians, followed by The Wonderful Mary Poppins, followed by The Adventure of our dear friend Peter Pan. Then Robin Hood, number 5 at Alice in Wonderland, number 6 at Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Speaking of wonderful movies, number 7, Babes in Toyland. Number 8, like you said on mine, is Mr. Don Knotts in the Apple Dumpling Gang. Number 9, a much better brother and sister film in Napoleon and Samantha. Actually, they're not brother sisters; they're just friends in that film. And then on the chopping block, mine, kind of like yours, is the Aristocats, and we will put that right here. But that was the first film of the year 1976. We are fully in the year 1976. We started in the 30s. We watched the 40s. We watched the 50s. We watched the 60s. And now we're up to the year 1976. But the next film that we're going to be watching of the year 1976 came out in July of that year. It is film number 125, and it is called The Treasure of Matacumbe, Matecumbe. So we will find out how to actually pronounce that then. But The Treasure of Matacumbe is our next film. But thanks for hanging out with us. A couple things for housekeeping. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Spotify and YouTube. Speaking of Spotify and YouTube, Deep Dive into Magic, we did kind of update our schedule a little bit for those that are following along. We are going to go down to once a week for the time being. That's just because we want to give you the best that we can and not rush anything. So we will be seeing you on Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll give you more time to get caught up on watching these films too.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting caught up, please send us an email at deepdiveinthemagicpod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Thank you for all of your likes, subscribes, thumbs up, comments, telling your friends. They now have more time than ever to watch because it's only on Tuesdays. We hope that everybody had a wonderful Labor Day for those that are watching around the time that this came out. And yeah, so we were around next time for 125, The Treasure of Matacumbe. Oh, we're going to pronounce it.
Thanks for deep diving the magic.
Bye.
Bye.